I mean...
Howdy, y'all. How goes it? It's Leo, Member Solutions on over here with Chris from Film Support. We are going to be working on a few different sketches. Troa, how goes it? Debbie, Dark Wolf, Levi, Markin. Have you all eaten? Have you hydrated? Because I've seen people who are in my normal live stream, so I'm asking. Hey, look who it is.
Hey, Snob, how's it going?
If you guys are wondering where some of my art comes from, most of it, in all honesty, is either fan or from him. And there's a lot of artists. Is it just me, or do I look like my camera? Oh, there we go. But a lot of the art that I have is from him. I've added other stuff since then. But good to see you guys. And it looks like you guys have eaten the hydrate. Now, Chris, one of the videos, and to everyone here, we're working on a few different things. I have reached out to an actor that I know, but he's based in Norway. So he is not our normal voice actor. He's a full-fledged part of the Actors Guild in Norway. But he's been trying to get into voice acting, but because he's part of the Actors Guild, he has actual credit, some acting credits to his name and everything. So he's more expensive than our average voice impressionist and everything. But I have been looking to a way of getting Constantine a voice. Those videos have all done really, really well. When the first video that we posted, the Constantine versus Voldemort, it was posted on YouTube when 3 minute, over a minute video was still considered a long form video. It was 2 minutes and 50 seconds roughly, and it got 41,000 views back when we had less than 50,000 followers. That was huge. And then on TikTok, it got 80,000 plus. Facebook, it got really not just hydrating.
How liquid is the cheese?
Water.
You're gonna need regular water if it's too liquid, because you're gonna be on the toilet and you're gonna need to rehydrate. Anyways, like I was trying to say, so I don't know if Chris remembers this sketch, but I was rewatching it and I was like, "Oh, this is rough." I had forgotten that after the first one, I started writing these sketches out, but the first one was improv. There wasn't improv scenes and a fully written sketch. The first one was completely just off the cuff, and using a few things, because I recorded it live. It was using a couple notes from audience, but it was most of that. And then afterwards, I started writing it completely with the audience, because it started with the audience as an audience suggestion during a live stream. So to start things off, do you want to watch the original first Constantine video?
But I want to say something real quick.
Go for it.
It's amazing the number of videos we've got, old videos, that people still get views and people still go, "This is funny," that Levi and I watch it and we go,
yeah, no, that's so true. And there is something
"What
special.
did I do?"
There is something special, and it's taking note. And again, I started out as a fan with Chris, and I jumped in, and he's taught me a lot throughout the years, and he's still teaching me. And we butt heads because of sometimes because any student, no matter what, when they're learning, at a certain point wants to kind of go off and do their own style. And that's effectively where we're butting heads, is I have my style that I'm trying to perfect and everything. And Chris is like, "Hey, you still need to learn how to do this game a little bit better," and stuff like that. And it's recognizing that when you are learning something, make sure whoever is teaching you something is trying to help you.
Yeah. Matt Olds, to clarify, it's not a reaction of, "Wow, that video is so good." It's a reaction of, "Who tracked poop in the house?"
Yeah. I had milk and soda. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen here because I downloaded this so I could get the transcript because like I said, I didn't write it. So I'm gonna share it.
Shiny Magikarp.
It'll turn into a shiny Gyarados unless you decide to be weird. Be weird. Trust me, it's fun. Here we go.
Cigarette smoke and brimstone. There's only one person that could be on the line. John Constantine. What can I help you out with today? Fine, John. Seriously, what are we doing? Snake nose poser. Well, if you want information on anyone, I'm gonna need a little bit more than like your version of a nickname. Although it's a pretty good giveaway. I can think of a few people though. What does their soul look like? Swiss cheese. Oh, that is good old Voldemort. And their soul looks like that because they split it a bunch across some Horcruxes, and we think one of them was his nose. I mean, that had to be the last one. What is so? What is Voldemort like? Well, besides being a snake-nosed diva, I would probably describe him like a teenage girl. See, he has a diary, a tiara, a special cup, a pet he adores, and an obsession with a certain teenage boy. Yeah, I know that presents multiple problems, but it is literally the best way to describe good old Voldy. So he tried to curse you? What happened? Okay, were you already smoking, or I don't mean like you're hot as in smoking. I mean, this is why no one likes talking to you, John. Like you, I would put you and Deadpool side by side. Why not? You afraid I'm going to summon Deadpool next to you? Because I think I can do that. I think you two would actually have fun taking him. He's what? Fushing? What do you mean fushing? Is he running? That's of course he is. Finds a threat that he can't take and books it for the high hills. I mean, you can do whatever you want with them. I don't. You summoned a demon dog.
This is where a lot of people made it through this.
I can't. I totally spaced. I totally spaced. The thought of him summoning a demon dog fucked me up.
And that's a very good indication. Like that was one of the first bloopers that I left in and found out like people enjoy those type of things. And 100% like there was supposed to be more, like a description of the demon dog and everything. But like immediately when I said demon dog, I started thinking of like the Sam and Dean demon dog and like how he's fucking running and looking. I had a full visual in my head and I could just completely spaced it. But go ahead.
Overall, fun sketch.
Yes. Boy.
That
might be me because I've. Go ahead, talk again.
Okay. Yeah. There's
I don't see.
I'll
stop sharing. Does the echo go away?
It's gone.
That's weird.
Yeah. But super fun sketch. Stephen Freeze, thank you. The bit where you list off the similarities between Voldemort and a teenage girl is freaking gold.
And everyone popped in on that. And that was one of the things that got written during the live stream, which is one of the reasons why we are live right now. And I want to work with you guys on this sketch. Besides the fact we got somebody here.
That is the strongest part, bar none.
Oh, yeah, 100%. There are some things that have to remain the same. but there's plenty of room to work with here, and I'll show you. I haven't changed anything. This is literally just I changed, I updated a little bit of the wording, but outside of that, I didn't change anything of this script, and there are some things that I need to keep and some things that need to be changed. Like when I talk about him being able to see souls, we very quickly, until it got to like the 3rd episode of the Constantine series, where enough people realized, and the huge portion of our audience was tuning back in to watch this series and knew what I was talking about. There were still some people who didn't know that Constantine can see what a soul looks like.
Yeah.
And so and that's one thing I didn't establish. And that's something I would like to fix. It was like, hey, I need to say a line that creates that establishment. And like, instead of you trying to describe this character and you just insulting him, we need to do that. So, and also, since this was the first one, I didn't give Constantine a whole lot of lines to describe Voldemort, where he would have been insulting Voldemort more often. Like we did with Palpatine and stuff like that. And I do realize that, like, maybe doing, one of the quote unquote newer skits would probably be easier. I want to bring this one up to date and do this one because it's 2 years old now. And it definitely needs to be up to date. But like that one line of what is Voldemort like? Well, besides being a snake-nosed diva, this entire line has to remain the same, outside of the fact there's one change I did, which a petty doors and an unhealthy obsession with a certain teenage boy. That, outside of that, is what is Voldemort like? Well, besides being a snake-nosed diva, I would probably describe him like a teenage girl. See, he has a diary, a tiara, a special cup, a pet he adores, and an unhealthy obsession with a certain teenage boy. That line is so strong, it can't be changed. It has to be in here. It's also the one that the most amount of people commented on and loved it. They thought you had a tattoo on your...
Oh, my sleeve.
So we discussed that, and the thing is, it does depend on the universe they're in. However, Tyne has access, and it's been noted even when he has had universal, when he's hopped into a different universe, he has access to a power called I can't remember the name, but he knows every single spell. And if he travels to, or a new spell is made, or he travels to a new place, he instantly has access to that. That is one of his actual innate abilities, along with like this really weird luck thing. The reality is that he is a stronger magic user. That doesn't mean that he's necessarily stronger than Harry.
Yeah, he is.
Huh?
If you put them, you put Pete Dresden versus Constantine, Dresden folds. You put Dresden versus movie Constantine.
Oh yeah, fuck. The movie Constantine sucks. The Echo.
Now Dresden has an uncanny ability to win fights he has no business winning.
And see, Constantine's got that same luck, so that would be interesting. I think
the biggest struggle would be figuring out how to get the two of them to fight.
So if me sharing my screen is causing an echo, that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn down the gain on my mic and see if that helps a little bit.
Hello. That's way better. Okay. Well, your screen also isn't shared.
Well, I'm going to share my screen. I'm not. Oh, you know what? Let me not share the audio.
Echo, echo, echo. No echo.
So I don't have the audio being shared.
Okay.
Because there's still an echo.
Yeah, somehow your microphone is picking up my voice and rebroadcasting it into the stream.
Even right now?
No, but when you're sharing audio.
That's so weird. So there's this sketch that I want to work on. I'm going to be redoing because it has been very requested to do Predator versus Alucard. And I've done that skit way back in the day. And it did well for the time. I've done a Predator versus Vash Stampede, as has he.
They're both fun.
They're both fun. And so
Thanks,
I
Jamie.
went and watched the first 3 episodes.
Doesn't mean we don't need to recreate it.
That's true. That's true. Does Constantine hate vampires? Kind of, yeah. He hates a lot of things. So Predator versus Helsing. Now this sketch is effectively done, and I can actually go over it with Chris. Chris, do you want to be Helsing? And for the record, I watched the first 2.5 episodes of Abridged to get to this sketch.
Okay, you need to zoom way in because I cannot see anything.
Oh.
More.
Yeah, blind.
More. No, this is fine.
That's 200%. Can't go any higher.
No, we're good. Okay.
Okay. So we did, in fact, per your request, get that bitch a cannon. Your words exactly. It's an anti-tank autocannon. We call it the Harkonnen. I have to figure out how to pronounce that.
Harkonnen.
Harkonnen?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Harkonnen. It'll take about 2 to 4 weeks to actually arrive, though.
I don't know how he sounds. I see. Any chance you can expedite the shipping and order a second? I have plans to take another enthusiastic walk through the woods later this week.
I can, but there is some red tape to be navigated.
My favorite color. I'm sure we can be worked out. And the other cannon?
Oh.
I'm sure it can be worked out. And it's supposed to be there. It's supposed to be a pause. I'm sure it can.
Mm-hmm. You have access to it. It's not letting me. It's giving me issues. Sure, we can. Can't.
It should be. It can. Hold on. I am sure it can be worked out. Oh, my favorite color. I'm sure it can be worked out. And the other cannon? Bitches love cannons, after all. Can't have too many.
I had to. Well, in fact, we are in the process of making an upgrade, which would feature a pair of 30mm autocannons, belt-fed from a backpack-mounted ammo box.
Ooh, a pair, you say? You're making me feel all tingly.
Right. Anyways, I do see here that the 70-inch nearly indestructible plasma TV. Oh, let me see if I can do that voice while I'm doing that. I do see here that the 70-inch nearly indestructible plasma TV, almost had it, arrived and is currently sitting on your wall. How do you like it?
It has a scratch and no Netflix, just something called Tubi.
A scratch? What the hell do you mean there's a scratch? Like, one of the only things in existence that can scratch that is a high-powered plasma laser, similar to what the Yautja.
Oh, so that's where that breeze came from. Who or what is a Yautja?
And do you think they'll go well with some saltines?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that line. And do you think they will go well with some saltines?
They're alien hunters that I'm realizing have probably been in your room this whole time.
Oh, you are just a treat. If I had known free lunch came with a purchase, I would have ordered ages ago. I still want my fucking Netflix, though.
Lunch? Yeah, I guess they just did Uber Eats themselves to your door, and your budget didn't cover Netflix.
I knew that shit was getting expensive. I wanted to watch the Great British Bake Off while baked. By chance, do you happen to know how many calories they might be?
The Yautja, or what they make on GBO?
The Yahoo. Who else? I would hate to spoil my dinner with junk food, after all.
I say go for it. A little junk food is good in moderation. Plus, it takes a whole year to make that TV.
A whole fucking year. You know, some people say TV makes you violent. Well, not having a TV is going to make me pretty fucking violent. Release restraint level 1.
The Yautja does a level what? And then I do a "let me tell you something" meme, but it shows the Predator. Yeah, we'll get started on a new one. You have an Acme day. We hear the disclosure is chaos, and in the middle of the closure, I go, too late. They're done for anyways, or something like that. One thing, and this might help with you visualizing how he talks.
I'm not doing the lines, so it's
No, you're fine, but it's just so you could visualize how he speaks. If I can find. Right here it is. For everyone here, Helsing Abridged does a very adult, very, very adult everything. I'm just gonna say everything.
Shoot some of the rotten bastards. Can't be that much fun. Oh, fuck the hell yes.
Sweet black fucking Zabbath. If I wasn't holding up for that beast of a woman Integra, I'd fuck the red right out of those eyes.
Again, very adult. Which is why I have the things that I have written. When I did this the first time, we had comments popping up that were effectively just straight lines from the abridged series. So when I was rewriting this, I was like, I don't want to take every fucking line. And I also didn't realize some of the things that people were writing were lines from the abridged because I hadn't seen it yet. I've seen Helsing Ultimate. To be clear, I've seen Helsing Ultimate. Vampire OnlyFans. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hold on. Is should we change the Great British Bake Off while baked to I wanted to watch some Vampire OnlyFans?
Does he get high?
Huh?
Does he get high?
I don't know, but it's definitely in the range of what the abridged series would say. Yeah, I'm not sure a vampire could get high, to be honest.
Will they get high off?
I don't know. He does. Okay, he does. So yeah, it works. The biggest thing here is because of how adult the abridged series is. That was another reason why I didn't want to do like this is already an adult like sketch. Only veins. Oh my god.
What so there's a bunch of references that are very, very reliant knowing Helsing Abridged. What does he mean by I've got a lot of questions. I'm going to highlight references I don't get.
Okay. That's that references when he went through the forest. You don't even need to know a bridge about that one, but it does reference when he was walking through the forest and taking care of a bunch of enemies. He wants to go take another enthusiastic walk through the woods later this week. Because the time frame of which when this sketch would take place would be roughly around episodes 1 through 3. For those that are wondering. And like again, this is the first episode of episodes 1 through 3 of Helsing Ultimate / episodes 1 through 3 of Helsing Abridged. And Helsing Abridged episodes 1 through 3 is a 41-minute skit. That reference is within the first 5 minutes. That enthusiastic walk is within the first 5 minutes of that video. That is besides the "Get That Bitch a Cannon," which is actually a later reference. This is one of the earliest references in that Helsing Abridged. High-powered plasma laser, similar to what the Yautja See, well, that's just a different terminology. Predators fire a plasma blast, and it can be damaged. That's I'm thinking of the word and I just spaced it. Semantics, I think it is. A high-powered laser. If I finish the line, it would be a high-powered plasma laser similar to what the Yautja have, which is a plasma blast. But it only left a scratch. And that references the fact that, again, they pretty much shot a plasma blast at him. And he's talking about eating them.
Okay. So
and then we go further.
If they fired the plasma blasts aren't
huh?
Can you turn the don't share the audio.
What?
Can you unshare and then reshare without the audio?
Oh, that's what you're saying. Is it echoing again?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I don't know why it's echoing. It's not on my side. It's not even registering. For whatever reason, it's just registering it.
Yeah, the echo stopped. Okay. So I'm not trying to pick this apart. I'm just saying, me as a casual fan, stuff that either is confusing to me that I don't get reference to, or B, so like for example, so that's where the breeze came from. That line should come after you tell him there's alien hunters in his room.
So we would have to...
He would have seen the plasma blast.
Well, the way he reacts to things, he literally has taken damage. Helsing Ultimate. Helsing in general has taken damage and just shrugged it off as if it was nothing. And like, what? Did a flea just touch me? Type of reaction. This is very in character for him to go, oh, that's what that was. Who or what is a Yautja, and do you think they'll go well with some saltines? It's like a, oh, hey, this is what this was. Oh, that's what that was type of reaction. And then me going further into depth, which is why that's in that line. That is a hoping that the person who's watching would understand it. Also, the people who were watching last time, because this line is identical. And then it went to the lunch in their original sketch. It went straight to lunch, and people got the context right away. I didn't need to add this other stuff. This stuff is just for those people who would struggle with the context of those two.
I would say don't write the sketch with hoping people get it in mind. You need to write a sketch with bones that everyone gets and then add references to it so that people who understand it can enjoy the sketch without the references, and then the references are flavor for them. Does that make sense?
No, I do understand that. This is, at this point, this is more of a media literacy thing. So you want me to write it as if they have virtually no media literacy?
What do you mean no media literacy?
What you're asking me is to take away context clues. What you're asking me to do is take away, is effectively, I can't say this a better way, make it as if a 5-year-old was watching it, who wouldn't understand the context of like, hey, a laser, I trail off, I don't finish it. Obviously, it's a laser similar, so that's the context clue to the Yautja blast. Oh, that's where the breeze come from.
I'm not saying I never said take the context clues out of it. What I'm saying is these really deep lore Helsing bits that you're building into the core of the sketch. Someone who doesn't know it, like at this point, I'm like I don't understand what's going on.
This is essentially like saying, like, they missed, right? They didn't hit him, they missed him.
Right.
It's the internet. Go for second grade literacy. this isn't even a lore bit. This is just they missed, and so he's just going like, oh, that's and like you have to have. If I'm talking to Helsing, regardless of if it's abridged or ultimate, you have to understand that Dracula Helsing. You have to understand the character of some kind to understand the sketch, which is a very powerful being that can take hits and take them and everything. Otherwise, the sketch falls apart in its entirety. And I would argue that a lot of your sketches are that same thing where you have to understand the character that you're talking to, and you have like a basic joke that goes through it too. You have plenty of sketches like that as well. It's no different than when we do a sketch. And this is, I'm not trying to argue. This is me talking to everyone here too. If we did a sketch with One Punch Man, and somebody who didn't know One Punch Man, but you are writing your sketch as if people understand who you're talking to. It's One Punch Man. He defeats people in one punch. He can take a hit and so on and so forth. And you write your sketch like that because you know a majority of people are going to get that reference. I don't need to have people understand Helsing abridged. I just need people to know Alucard. And Alucard is fucking powerful. The Predators are no match for him, even if it wasn't the abridged one, right? So all we need is the... I do understand the enthusiastic walk one. That is a lore-heavy bit. 100%. I can take that out. We can change that. That's not necessary. But this is just context. And that's what I'm having trouble wrapping my brain around. You want me to change the context.
If they missed and he's in a room with a TV, what did they hit?
They hit the TV.
Okay.
And he just didn't care, which is in character with both Ultimate and thing.
Okay, I'm getting lost in the details.
Yeah.
If a plasma blast hit a TV screen, how would that scratch it?
I said it right here.
Right. How would a plasma blast, a ball of energy that is not sharp, scratch a screen?
Have you seen those videos from no, you probably haven't. There's plenty of times in anime and manga where a blast hits something, armor, anything like that. Think like Gundam. A blast hits it and you see a shine, but all it is a scratch, right? That's the joke here. It's a nearly indestructible TV, which there is a Chinese manufacturer. I'm not saying that's where I'm getting this joke from, to be clear, that makes almost indestructible TVs with quotation marks around it. The joke here is that it's a nearly indestructible plasma TV that got a scratch from a plasma blast. That's all the joke is. It doesn't need to be looked into. It doesn't need any further. It's no different than that old school anime where the blast hits them. You see a shine, but it's a tiny little scratch. It's just part of that thing. It's a very easy, very small joke.
If that's confusing me, think about how crazy so many of our fans
anyone else in the original sketch. That it's a scratch line that I do was also in the original sketch. Yeah, the scratch is the paint melting away. Yeah, a scratch and not really melt. Yeah, and I'm just saying a scratch. It doesn't need to be anything complicated. We don't need to say that it melted the TV. You don't need to say it's supposed to be this almost nearly indestructible thing, and a scratch got on it after taking a blast. A chink, but people would probably say scratch. It's still one of those things where it's at this point, it's overthinking where a lot of people aren't. It's just making damage. Yeah. A scratch is damage. It's overthinking and overanalyzing the word, the structure, especially with the fact that it was a successful joke to begin with. Like, if you need me hairline crack, like, do we need to be that specific? Is there a reason to be that specific?
I think you should be more general and just say it's damaged.
Well, then that's where I would have to ask, how bad is the damage? Because this is supposed to be a nearly indestructible TV. The original way I say the line, up above, is I'm smiling. I hear him say a word, and I go, a scratch. What the hell do you mean there's a scratch? And then I drop my angry smile, and I go, there's like only one of few things in existence that can scratch it. It's like a high-powered plasma laser, similar to what the Yautja, and it's because I'm comparing it to their
But now we're
plasma.
saying that it was the Yautja blast that hit the TV.
Yeah.
So, and everyone's gonna know, okay, but they don't fire lasers; they fire plasma blasts. A single blast of lambent, non-physical, non-solid energy that
There wasn't a single person out of hundreds of thousands of views that got across multiple social medias that picked that line apart, that had a problem with that line. That's the one thing I'm going to say. I understand where you're coming from. I do. But that's the equivalent of me picking a line out of one of your sketches and going, this doesn't make sense. And you're going, well, it does. You're just overthinking it. And that's where I think we're overthinking it. It doesn't need to be super, super detailed. We don't need to do the super detail. A scratch is a scratch.
There's a difference when you're doing a sketch improvised versus when you're writing it and you're being careful to make sure that it's written as well as possible and the jokes hit and everything makes sense.
I know. But because I've already filmed it, I also know that, like, hey, if we line this up properly, people aren't going to care that it's a scratch or a dent, or, it could be a dent, I guess, but as well, if you want to be specific, and it's a plasma blast, it dented it. But I don't know if he would say, I'm not quite sure he would say a dent versus a scratch. Would a dent make a smudge? A smudge wipes off. Would a dent work better because it's a blast, quote unquote, than a scratch? Chris?
I'm reading. I'm trying to.
A ding. Oh, a ding. I like the way scratch, ding, dent. Either something along those lines. Also, also as the character saying it, so the character may not be using the right word. That's true, but at the same time, it's an over analyzing, but still, like Chris says, wanting to make sure that it's there.
Would he not recognize that they were in the room despite their
He just wouldn't care.
camouflage?
Again, that's another one of those things where he just wouldn't care. And that's where I'm just assuming. And that's the reason why I'm saying the way I'm just realizing have probably been in your room the whole time.
I guess,
or I could even say have probably been there instead of in your room, so I'm less specific. In fact, that would probably be better instead of saying in your room. Just saying probably been there. Because then I don't say it's in a room, I just say there. So that's less specific. We don't have to make it specific that they're in the room. As a diehard Predator fan, wouldn't the blast just leave a burn mark instead of a scratch? Yeah, plasma blast would melt distortion, but no idea how to describe that. And again, this is a nearly indestructible item. It's that a nearly indestructible item got a scratch on it from something, whether it be, and no, they don't. They don't shoot lasers, they do blast. Hence why I use the word similar. Singed. Eh. You guys got to remember this is we've made it known that we make pretty good indestructible stuff. It's all, and yes, it's like quote unquote Acme related back then, but to make the screen indestructible and have damaged TV frame that can melt, there's a thing, regardless of how you're writing or what you're writing for, where you can get too much detail. You can go, and people will pull out the details rather than going something more generic. A scratch, a dent, a ding, is very generic type of damage. We can say damage, but then you fall into the too generic. And why wouldn't a customer service agent not be like, well, what type of damage, right? If he says a scratch, a ding, a dent, or something like that, that is something that I can, as a customer service agent, immediately go, what? This type of damage? This can't happen to this type of item, right? Michael, I'm not going to give SCP files a look. Gets one of the TVs, he's in it as a weapon because it's so tough, right? I think we may be concentrating on this line a little bit too much right this second. Let's go up and we'll swing back to it. An ashy spot on the screen. We're gonna walk away. Again, it's too, that's too specific. Scorched, ashy spot is too specific. A dent, ding, or dent is very on a scratch, dent, ding, dent, something like that, I think would, or scrape would work out really, really well and still allow that line to flow very similar to the original one. Chris, what you doing?
I'm thinking.
Okay. Scratch sounds the best because you want to show the damage, but help move the story without driving to. Yeah, Walter, that's kind of where it's at. But a dent, a ding, or something like that still works in that same context. I would just have to change some of the lineup. Like if we were to, I really want to. So my line of hair, there's a scratch, if ding, dent, whatever. These two words would stay the same, and then the only word that would need to be changed. One of the only things in existence that can damage that TV, changing that line instead of using scratch 3 times would just be a dent, a ding for these 2 words, and then damage for this one. And then we're still comparing the high-powered plasma laser similar to what the Yautja used. And this is because we've dealt with the Yautja. Even back then, we did a lot of these skits, a lot of these sketches with the Predator versus. So Levi comparing it or John comparing it to a weapon that they know and they've been dealing with a lot is very in par. But I could use any other example, but if I use a different example than the Yautja, my character isn't supposed to get it right away. We're going to need to draw this out longer than what it honestly needs to be. unless Chris feels that we should play the game of like, hey, we need to figure out that it's the Yautja a little bit clearer versus just going straight into it and Helsing going, oh, that's where that breeze came from. And then going, who or what is a Yautja? And do you think they'll go well with some saltines? Literally going right into the joke of he's going to be eating these guys because they just hurt his TV.
Wouldn't he want to eat them anyways?
Yeah, but it's. I mean, this is the kind of thing he would say. This is less the joke and more of just kind of what the character would say. And that's another thing when you're, and this is for everyone here. And this is coming from advice, not even from me. This is coming advice from like Brandon Sanderson. Okay. When you write a character, make sure to keep the character like it. If there's character growth, make sure that character growth is shown and remains consistent. Because the moment you break that consistency, you break the suspension of disbelief. The people, instead of somebody going, oh, this is this character, they'll go, that's not really what that character would say. And even if your material is good, they still broke it and you're having to gain their attention again. So it comes, and so again, not my advice. This is from somebody that is massively successful in the writing field, that has written various types of books, comedy, drama, you name it. He has written it. Keep your characters consistent. So when you're, and so when I write a character that is already known, I have to make sure that they say things that they would say. Otherwise, the sketch isn't going to perform nearly as well as it could have. Saltines are called cream crackers in the UK. Oh, would he use that? That's a problem. Yeah. Would he say cream crackers or would he say saltines?
The majority of your audience is in the US and they would have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I think that's one of those exceptions to the rule type deal where we'd have to change it to something that is more known. It's still in line with what the character would say. I'm just having to change one word so that more people know what it is. There is a weather advisory. I'm not looking forward to that. I don't have a whole lot of fuel left, and I not talking about money right now. But scrolling up here, I have plans to take another enthusiast. I've got a question for all of you. Does have an American accent. Partial. So here's a question. This line is necessary. I don't have to do the whole anti-tank thing. Chris, I have a question.
Yeah.
So we did, in fact, per your request, get that bitch a cannon. Your words exactly. It's an anti-tank autocannon we call the Haroken. It will be about 2 to 4 weeks to actually write. It's very customer service, real life type of thing. You're confirming, verifying everything. This is for everyone here. This is exactly how I would say it as a customer service rep. It's very similar to what Chris would probably say, confirming a delivery or something like that. It's also incredibly specific to Helsing. That is the actual weapon that they get for the police girl, which I forget her name currently. And then we get the Helsing, I see, any chance you can expedite the shipping and order a second, which is referencing later on when she gets a different one. I don't have to have the I have plans to take another enthusiastic walk through the woods. That is a reference point. That is a reference point for the fans, a second reference point. You don't need to know the reference, but it is a second reference point. The red tape, my favorite color, he's a vampire, right? And I would change these from Helsing to Alucard for the name. The other canon, bitches love cannons after all, can't have too many. I scrapped a version of this line because it was too adult. But it is something that the Helsing abridged version would say, which would be bitches love cannons after all. Can't have too many of either one. That is something Helsing would say. It's not something I really want to put on the channel, especially that early on in the skit, because it's very, well, you guys know exactly how it sounds. I appreciate the small distraction from the daily grind. Nick, I'm so happy, which is why we're working to make this skit as good as we can. Saris. Oh, Saris. Yeah. As that goes, it'd be a biscuit. Throwing blades would be better guessing game aspect. Throwing blades. What do you mean? Then just use the bladed stars. What are you talking about? And yes, she does indeed get a second cannon, which, to be exact, the second cannon is the Hurricane 2, and it has a pair of 30mm autocannons belt-fed from a backpack-mounted ammo box. That's a canon thing that Helsing Ultimate gets. But here's the thing. Both the anti-tank autocannon, the 30mm autocannons belt-fed, you don't need to be a fan of the series to still go, oh, that sounds fucking cool. You don't, that even though that's a lore thing, it's also very clear, like with what Chris was saying, like making it so that people understand. That's very easy to understand. It's very clear what that is. You can see it in your head. You know what I'm talking about. Helsing going, oh, a pair, you say. You're making me feel all tingly again because I'm talking to Helsing abridged. A good portion of this is probably going to have the same thing that happens every time that we do an abridged type of joke in the sketch, whether it be in mine, Chris's, or whatever, where there is a healthy chunk of the audience who goes and says, hey, this is what they're talking about. Go check this out. And I can make it clear abridged in the title, to be honest. You're just thinking of the recoil. Good thing that she becomes a vampire or something like that. Correct feel for you. Yeah. I do like it. But again, Chris has a point about this right here. This isn't necessary. It's just added flavor. You don't have to understand this reference, but it is something that you have to sit through. And that's,
if we just add that, it makes perfect sense. And now you got people's attention.
Okay. All right. I'll leave it.
No,
that works. That's fine. Murder walk through the woods later this week. All right. Okay.
Now it's gone from what's he talking about? What walk did he take before to, oh, he's going to go through the woods and kill people.
Yeah. That's fine with me. So this particular structure right here, is there any other part of the sketch that you don't care for before we go with work on this structure? Is the rest of it pretty much solid?
I don't not care for it. All I'm trying to do is look at it from the perspective of our fan base, who we know are wild about details, and they have gotten into debates in the chat about tiny little details that we've gotten wrong or that we've gotten right in things. All I'm trying to say
I'm not wrong. I'm not. Should I emphasize similar to make it clear?
Can I just say my full piece?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. So the plasma blast hit the TV, right? We're talking about cause and effect here. Hit the TV. A high-powered laser similar to what the Yautja, but now we're saying that it was a Yautja blast that did hit the TV.
Yes.
So similar shouldn't even be in there. It was a plasma blast. I'm not so concerned about scratch being important to the sketch. I'm concerned about it distracting people. Wait a minute. How would that scratch that? If that happens to me, it's going to happen to other people too.
Okay.
So instead of making it a distraction, make it more generic. Just he doesn't need to say there's a scratch. It has damage. It's damaged, and there's no Netflix. Just something called Tubi. What do you mean it's damaged? And
so the issue I have with this right here is that right before he says it's a scratch, I clearly state a nearly indestructible plasma TV. That nearly indestructible is key to this.
why?
Huh?
Why?
Because it's nearly fucking indestructible. And we're
Why?
the ones who are making it.
Why is that important, and why does the sketch hinge on it?
It's not that the sketch hinges on it. This part of the sketch hinges on it. I say that it's a nearly indestructible TV. It got damaged, right? The screen is chipped, scratched. It doesn't need to. Again, everyone, as I was talking earlier, it's too much, too little, right? We're trying to find a healthy balance here. So if Helsing goes, it's damaged. Here's the biggest problem. At that point, I now have to, as a customer service agent, to make the sketch feel more realistic, to keep that part of the reality, and to keep that suspension of disbelief. Why am I not trying to verify what type of damage it is? Like, even if I go and was like, what do you mean that it's damaged? The only thing is existence. I'm still having to, it may be one line, it may be two, but we have to address that is all I'm saying. So if we go generic and it says it's damaged, we need to figure out a little bit more, because why is Levi a scratch, a dent, a ding? Doesn't matter what. It doesn't have to be a scratch. It can be a dent, ding, whatever you want, right? And then I can type in the word damage right here, right? Is a high-powered plasma laser similar to what the Yautja, and then I trail off, right? So it doesn't have to be a scratch. It can be a dent, a ding, something like that. I don't want it to be a scorch mark. I don't want it to be something like that. That's too specific. But a dent or a ding could very well be similar to a blast, right? There's no reason why we can't have that. And when you describe damage and you're not really caring about the item, you're also probably not going to mention that it's a dent with some scorching around it, right? He's being very quick, and he's more concerned with the fact that there's no Netflix than the ding on it. But it has to be something very specifically. It has to be something very minor. A dent, a ding, a scratch are very minor bits of damage. It would still function. And then Levi latches onto that like, wait, what? Oh, yeah, that is. It's also a callback to Team 4 Stars joke. I forgot about that. That's not how I'll be honest to everyone here. When I did this original one, I was just doing a 70-inch nearly indestructible plasma TV. Because the original line that they use is a 70-inch widescreen plasma TV. That's what they do. Not nearly indestructible.
Question. The Predators do have a thing that could scratch a TV. They have their forearm claws. And if he's putting the TV up on the wall and they're attacking him, and he would ignore normal damage.
What are their forearm claws made out of?
I looked that up, actually, because I had the same exact question. A polysynthetic alloy capable of cutting bone, durable, and sometimes heat treated by the Predators themselves. Or high carbon. That's for the props.
We need a version of it.
They can slice cleanly through an alien's exoskeleton.
Okay, so then if we went that route and kept the scratch, if we want to do the scratch thing, like I said, I'm not married to the scratch. It can be a dent or ding or something like that. If we did that, that there's still that, then we'd have to change that. So that's where that breeze can come from line at that point, which is fine. We can do that. But then you have at that point, if they're hitting him with his claws, well, no, if they no, because they missed completely. But why is he like, he would totally sense them at that point versus them being from a distance and shooting something and him just shrugging it off? Because there's this whole thing in Hellsing Ultimate where a battle is literally going on and he's just fucking watching TV. Like he's literally just waiting while things are happening. At least in the abridged, he's watching TV. But yes, he's literally just waiting because he was told to sit and wait. And he's just letting shit happen. And that's very true in character for Hellsing Ultimate, where he will sit and wait and like shit will go whiz by him and he won't flinch or care about that particular incident. Yeah, it's it's in line with his character is the thing, is so that's where that breeze came from, is very contextual to his character or a super high powered character in general, of like, oh, what the hell was that? I've got more important things to do. But again, like I said, I'm not married to this. It's just like making sure these lines match up and then going from there. Yeah, he didn't care about Luke Valentine until Luke made himself the center of attention. He got fucking stabbed by the motherfucker and just shrugged it off. And once we get this settled, this is an easier one to do, ironically enough. Once we get this settled and we're happy with the lines, I can send these lines off to our voice actor. He can get me those lines. And then as soon as I have those lines, I can go ahead and start recording the video. Because the way I record is different than the way Chris records. I need to have the audio in my head or hearing it so I can match my pacing to the character. And with Hellsing, he has this very 70-inch plasma screen TV. It has a scratch and no Netflix, just something called Tubi. I do want the saltines line part in there at least. What are we doing now?
I'm proposing something, but let me get through all of it first.
Hey, Josh, how goes it? We are updating an old sketch, bringing it, and it's going to have voice work and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing right now. And we're getting hung up on one part and trying to iron it out so it's really good. Plasma laser is a bit I don't like because it's not a thing. Well, it's a thing in sci-fi though. There's plasma lasers and like that's like arguing, especially because there's plasma lasers in Star Wars. That's like arguing that actually no, plasma laser is now a thing. Wait, no. Wait, I think they made plasma cutters, plasma. If I remember right, or is it yeah, the plasma lightsaber is a real-world high-tech replica created by the Hacksmith Industries. That's more that was more recent. That was like in 2020 though. So technically speaking, if we wanted to be technical, beams or things, yeah. But again, sci-fi. Gotta love sci-fi. What I want to know is what phasers are supposed to be. Lasers. It doesn't have to be a scratch, everyone. A blast would cause if you're hung up on that, a blast would have to cause a dent or something. That's fine. I don't, not saying that there wouldn't be scorch marks. I just want to keep it generic. And I can do damage, but we just have to make sure that I go back and ask, well, like, what kind of damage? A dent, a ding, blah, 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 because of this, and this, right? And we could very well, and this has happened in a lot of different types of shows, where they don't actually clarify the thing that they were speaking about because they get distracted about other shit. And it just gets left open. Unfortunately, it gets left open as a plot hole. That is now a hole in your thing that you did not correct. But that happens all the time in all kinds of writing and all kinds of TV shows and everything. Usually because, and Chris here is proof of it, as well as some of you guys in the chat here. If you go too specific, which a scratch shouldn't be specific, but because of other stuff, I guess it is. There are a small group of people who will latch on to that. Now, these are not the majority of people, but like if you were specific about the math and said, hey, this thing happened 120 years ago, but it's a thing that should have happened 120,000 years ago, people are going to point that out. Majority of people won't, but the people who know like basic history and stuff like that, who can't let that thought go, will do that. And I have that sometimes with things too, where I'm like, ooh, I don't like that. That's especially with history. That's why I use that example. Again, it's damaged can work, but I have to go back down and be like, well, what kind of damage? I have to ask that question, even if it becomes an open-ended question that doesn't get answered, because I go off on a tangent about like the only things that could damage it is this thing, right? Oh yeah, Helsing definitely could have sent me a picture. Well, yeah, they had cell phones in that one. Yeah, so he definitely could have sent a picture. I'm a major Trek nerd too, but I would have had to like. Phasers are gonna be not that much antimatter. That's what it was. Purposely flavored. We're waiting on Chris right now. While we're waiting on Chris, I want to check something real quick because I want to know how the Stitch skit is doing. That's one of the best skits that we've done in a while. That's sitting at nearly 70,000 just on YouTube. It's right there with the other ones that were doing really well. Last I looked on Facebook, it was over 100,000. Yeah, that's 150,000 now. Just based on those two numbers alone, it's. I gotta figure out what we need to make a decision on that. How we want to go about the next part of that. How'd it do on TikTok though? Where is it? Oh, 41,000 and still growing during a time when we had 1, 2, 3, 12, 8, and a week ago, 16. Oh, we had a point where we weren't uploading that much. Not bad, but not great. So it did well on two of the socials. I would love to do a Stitch versus Alucard at some point, I don't want to do it right now. I'm surprised you didn't use the Predator's bolt. That's okay. The plasma blast, or is it like a specific like they have a bolt gun? The thing about it is, it's the nearly indestructible part. If I just say a 70-inch plasma TV, there's no reason he's gonna say a scratch. It blew up, right? And at that point, that's an entirely different thing, and I have to change the feel of the sketch afterwards. Part of this joke, and part of it is, and the whole point of it, down on the end, is it takes a whole fucking year to make this nearly indestructible TV that can only be damaged by like this highly powered. It's not a very common thing to be damaged by. And we've made it clear that it takes time to make things in other sketches. So the whole fucking year thing is not, it's whatever. No matter what, I think the skit is going to be epic. We've got a hinge part, and not a hinge part, a hitch. Yeah. I'm guessing you're rewriting the entire sketch.
Nope.
Writing a different one?
Nope.
What are you doing?
You'll see.
I would love to have Chris be talking to a Predator in this too. But it's not necessary. Also, with Chris's current schedule, I wanted to make sure like some of my videos were just meaning he didn't need to do any extra work. If this does well enough, though, there's going to be requests for John's side of the call. Oh, that would be fucking funny as hell. Oh, it would be so funny to, instead of me having to explain the damage, if we did do the word damage, we immediately switch to John talking to the Predators and be like, great, you blew, what do you mean it didn't blow up, or blew up or whatever? He finds out that it was a TV, and it clicks what TV it would be, because it was, it has to be one of our products that survived it. And that would be one of those, and just look over at Levi. Levi looks over at him and like, you motherfucker. that would be a funny in-universe moment. Yes, Levi, that. All I'd have to do is change their Alien Hunters line a little bit, but we would have to go back and forth between. And then my last line wouldn't be necessary. It would instead be Chris listening to the stuff, just looking at Levi going, did you really? And Levi going, takes a whole fucking year, John, type of thing. It does make sense. It also, like, the question here would be, how does John draw the line from figuring out that whatever they damaged didn't actually take a whole lot of damage, and in the universe that they're in, that's odd, and then immediately go, that would be a Levi's really loud type of moment, maybe, and then like John and Levi having that exchange, that silent, maybe even a silent exchange type of deal. But I don't know. This is, again, making it more complicated than it probably needs to be. So I changed the joke to be more online with the the stuff because he negotiates for a 70-inch plasma screen TV with Netflix and so on and so forth, right? There's no Netflix, so just something called Tubi, which is a joke for everyone in real life, right? It's updating. It's doing two things. One, it's updating the abridged version to be more in line with today's technology and what's available. I think if Tubi had existed when they released that sketch, which I think it kind of did, but it wasn't as big as it is now, I definitely think they would have done a line in there. Make sure it's not that fucking knockoff Tubi or something like that. And the fact that we installed Tubi because his budget is a reference to that as well. But it's also just a reference to that he apparently didn't have money and Netflix has gotten expensive. So it's a joke that hits in different ways. If you don't understand the reference, fine, not a big deal. Netflix has gotten fucking expensive. You get the joke either way. Levi, you're hearing the talking. It's easy in a small office space. I agree. It's not that hard for us to hear each other. We've played that plenty of times. Right now, I want to see what Chris is doing as soon as he's done. Highlighted. While we're waiting on Chris, for everyone here, I'm probably going to be live for a little while, or I might go live again later. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I want to work out the Tyne versus Voldy sketch as well. But I want to iron out this Predator versus Helsing because it's mostly done. Whereas the Voldy, I have to create lines for John Constantine. I have to modify my lines. I have to fix the sketch structure. There's a lot more work to be done on this one than there does like an old, one of the older skit, one of the newer Constantine skits that I had ironed out really well. Of course, those are mostly insult comic stuff. So, but a lot of Constantine lines were already written. And then I wrote my lines as if I was reacting and saying certain things, but it was actually me telling people what his lines were. So then I wouldn't have to repeat those lines. I would just have to write his lines and then rewrite my line, rewrite a few of my lines. Once I get to there's an entire section of a lot of those videos that's just me shitting on me insulting the character. I don't have to fix the rest of that. That is me talking, Constantine having a couple quips, and then the end of the sketch. That first half of the Constantine is me of Constantine insulting them, and then the second half is me insulting them, which has made a really good structure for that. Levi, the TV says it has an update. Why is it taking 3? Oh God, I can't do.
All right, so I've rewritten a small part of it with quicker back and forth dialogue that I think solves all the problems of that small part, gets rid of all the questions of detail shit and everything, still includes the damage, gives an explanation because we make indestructible shit. We also agree that our shit typically sucks.
Yeah.
So I modified your line of right anyway. So did you see my comment?
I don't for some reason. What is it?
Because there we go. It wasn't loaded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now it's there.
Wow, it looks like so the sketch becomes longer then.
In terms of actual dialogue, yes, but in terms of time, it's faster back and forth.
Okay. So let's go and let's reread the whole sketch. Hey guys, I'm not gonna do this because I can't, if I zoom it in, this is what happens when I zoom it in so that he can read it. I can't read the other half. So I'm not gonna be showing
I've got it on my screen. So
yeah. So we're gonna go. So we did, in fact, per your request, get that bitch a cannon. Your words exactly. It's an anti-tank auto cannon we call the Haruken. It'll take about 2 to 4 weeks to actually arrive, though.
I see. Any chance you can expedite the shipping and order a second? I have plans to take another enthusiastic murder walk through the woods later this week.
I can, but there's some red tape to be navigated.
Ooh, my favorite color. I'm sure it can be worked out. And the other cannon? Bitches do love cannons, after all. Can't have too many.
Well, in fact, we are actually in the process of making an upgrade, which would feature a pair of 30mm autocannons belt-fed from a backpack-mounted ammo box.
A pair, you say? You're making me feel all tingly.
Right. Anyways, I do see here that your 70-inch nearly indestructible plasma TV has arrived. How do you like it?
There's no Netflix, just something called Tubi.
You have to pay for Netflix. We went over this.
Also, your installers didn't help at all and have damaged it. Scratches and a burn mark.
Nearly indestructible, and we didn't send any installers.
Really? The invisible stabby blokes aren't yours?
Great. Yowcha.
Yowza.
Alien hunters who have probably been there this whole time.
Ooh, are they edible? Would they go well with saltines?
So we would have to adjust because that adjusts the alien hunters line, and we would have to adjust the oh, you're a treat if I had known free lunch, and I'd like to keep that. I still want my fucking Netflix though. The way Hellsing is currently, the way you're writing Hellsing would need to be a little bit. I don't like a few parts. Yeah, Levi, it's the way Hellsing is. It's not my lines. My lines, I actually agree, are pretty good. We're very close. We're very close.
If you wanted to go through and Helsingize that, it gets rid of the specifics that people are getting stuck on. Adds in the joke that all of our stuff is shit, especially when it's nearly indestructible.
Yeah. And Levi, as far as the what we were discussing, I don't know if Chris was paying attention about like me and John having that silent knowledge of like overhearing each other, looking at each other and realizing what's going on. That would be underneath the exceptions. He calls them invisible stabby guys. Yeah. Yeah, the Hellsinger Bridge would totally do this. But that's I don't know. Yeah, he does have a sluggish Candace to his feet unless he's pissed off. So he knows that he's there the whole time, which is fine, but I've got a question for you, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be opposed to changing this whole section here to the back and forth with me and you a little bit, where you're talking to the predators, and we wind up realizing what's going on, and we address it in the sketch? Of course, it's like, "Hey, motherfucker, you're the reason they're there," type of thing. And like, it would be so it'd go, right, I do see here that you have this nearly indestructible TV, and then Hellsing does, there's no Netflix, just something called Tubi. You have to pay for Netflix. We went over this. And then Hellsing mentioning, instead of saying the installers, also, it was damaged. damaged, and then we cut to you. So I just say damaged. We find out what type of damage from your character. And Levi, and you overheard me at the same time that you're finding out that the TV or whatever that they hit, the wall, quote unquote, that they hit didn't break. And whatever type of damage happened, they missed Helsing.
That would really work because then John could get them to understand just how outclassed they are. And as Helsing, smiling, not even concerned about them, does his, I don't even know how he does the thing. He does that or whatever. And, begins turning into dogs or whatever the hell it is that he turns into.
And we can play that back and forth, but we could still have Helsing do his lines talking to me about the lunch and that kind of stuff while you're reacting back over there.
And it's like, you don't understand. He wants to eat you. Give him your credit card right now. No, right now. Tell him you'll pay for his Netflix and then run.
Can you go ahead and I think if you think you have a good idea of where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Rather than me trying to tell you to fix your lines.
Let me
and
kill
everything.
my comment.
Yeah. We post on every platform, so we would prefer YouTube, but Facebook has done really, really well. TikTok kind of does well sometimes. So whatever platform you go on, you will be able to watch our content. But here's how things get posted. 90% of the time, YouTube will get the first post. 5 to 10 minutes later, it'll go on to every other platform. YouTube gets bloopers and behind the scenes and extra content. Facebook, TikTok, and every other platform gets just a basic sketch. And there's a reason behind this. YouTube does really well with long-form content, really long-form content. And it can be behind the scenes. It can be live streams. It can be this. It can be that. And it does really well. I am really surprised we've done as well as we have on Facebook for live streams and a few other bits of content. But most of the time, it's the sketches that do well over there. And TikTok is a coin flip. That's a private conversation me and Chris have to actually have later. Because I am, well, but yeah, so it just depends on your preference. You want to
have a house or an apartment? Does Alucard have a house or an apartment?
Technically, he's staying with he's under the control, so technically it's a house. It's like a mansion.
Okay.
But he's like in the basement area at the time that this sketch would take place. He's in a manor. Yeah, manor. I can comment on Facebook. Sure. I don't know why our mods can't comment. I don't know why. That doesn't make sense. You should be able to comment. Can you monitor?
They can't comment at all?
Not on the shorts. On the long videos they can. But for whatever reason, every one of our mods can't can you guys delete comments or report comments? It's a really weird thing. And I really love the idea that we cut to John and we might even have a moment where John and Levi, I like the silent look a lot more than I love any dialogue between John and Levi. That silent look of he's fucked up. I realize like the predators have fucked up. He knows I'm about to tell Helsing what to do. That silent. And then Levi going back to his. We cut back to John. Back and forth would be really nice. I would love the ending here to be changed if we're adding John. Instead of me saying we'll get started on a new one. It could literally be we both hear the chaos, and then that's when we have our actual speaking dialogue to each other, if we wanted to. You can comment on PC, but not. That is so weird. I don't know how to pronounce your first name. How would
Vaughn.
Vaughn?
Vaughn. The GH is silent.
Vaughn. Vaughn. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, like, we want people to watch our content where they want to watch it. But we also know people want to support us, and it's like we just want to make sure you guys have options. Basically, what I wanted to. A dungeon. Make them into dog food. That was the original. That was the original. How I originally said it was dog food. But the sketch at the end was very rambly in the original one at the end of it. And so I was trying to make it work and make it flow better and have the game kind of go upward to where he's like, and it would make sense that he would eat them because he eats everything. Or his dogs eat it. And technically his dogs are part of him with the way that works. Just popping in before bed to ask with no expectation of an answer. If those calling in will ever learn that your questions aren't ridiculous, hair color is very important. Oh, yeah. Here's a fun bit that we left in only because even though it was an accident during an improv thing, because, again, this type of thing happens in improv. When I asked Toph a question that, they can't see, I got very lucky that Toph's character would have been like called me out on it. And I had reacted as if I had been called out on it. The reality is I just didn't feel like recording another take after I had already posted it because I didn't catch that mistake. And we had discussed, because a bunch of people were talking, and we had discussed turning that. I'm glad we didn't, but we had discussed deleting it. And at the time we had discussed deleting it, there were a bunch of people in the comments who were already saying, "Oh, well, she probably just told him off. It's part of her character. It's part of the joke in the series." And I'm like, that was an accident. That was literally just an accident. But there's enough people who are huge fans who realize that that is exactly the type of conversation that would have happened. And that's one of those happy, I could not have written it better, because the way, if I had written it and gone over it, me and Chris would have sat here and been like, "Oh, we can't write it like that because Toph can't see." So that's one of those jokes that was an accidental good thing that happened. And we would have corrected it thinking that people would have called us out on it and hated the joke, but turns out people love the joke. And that's where you go. Sometimes, no matter what you do, for anyone that want to make content, there's gonna be times you're never gonna make everyone happy. You're just not. You have to decide what type of content you want to make. If you're making comedy, and this is my personal preference, I suggest what's called punch-up comedy. That means you're aiming upward. You want to make the jokes here. You don't want to make fun of somebody in a very specific way, right? Like I do insult comedy for the villains, but that's a fictional character. But even with that insult comedy, I have changed certain jokes because they would have made fun of entire communities, and I wasn't wanting to do that. We did, but I'd already posted it. And we were like, shit. Oh, so we're having the conversation. We're not having a silent. Okay, I'll just wait.
Oh, just hold on.
Okay. They punched down too. Yeah. No. We've had jokes that have Constantine is been the series where when I'm live and I'm writing the sketches with you guys and we're coming up with insults for whoever, I've made it clear that what type of comedy I would prefer, and I've seen like some really bad punch down. I've blocked people because of the jokes that they decided to post were very clear, and they didn't apologize for those jokes, and then, that's fine. You don't want to apologize for the joke, but also bye. Would Phone Sport help the Hell's Bells help desk? Hell's Bells help desk. What is Hell's Bells help desk? Somebody has music in their sketches. That's copyrighted music. I recognize that. Oh, probably not. Only because I know that creator does. We've made it clear that we try not to do a whole lot of political comedy on here. There are political jokes that sometimes I squeeze in, but they're very generic-y. Or like technically speaking, when I mention the Cybertruck, that's a political joke. It is, but it's also just a joke of a vehicle, which is why I can get away with making fun of it. But if I specify anything about Musk, all of a sudden that's it's not all of a sudden. It's a very like there's a reason why I don't do that, right? I would love to do more political comedy. It's not going to happen. And that does mean that we have a slower growth rate for some of our stuff. And that's okay. We hit a much larger audience than if we were to be like, hey, these are our politics, and so here's political jokes. And well, now we're insulting half of our audience because of those jokes. Would we jump up in views and everything else? Sure, because there's going to be a bunch of people who make a bunch of mean comments and stuff like that. We don't want to do that. But that's the reason why, like, sometimes when I make a more political sketch, it goes on my channel versus this channel. I get it out of my system. I can totally see Dean Winchester asking Santa for Doomslayer gear. Vug, I'm glad we were able to make you feel seen. I have a sketch where I talk about that exact thing, a drama one. I haven't done a drama sketch in a while. I've had the urge to do them, and I've written parts of them. And then I've looked at them later on, and then like I just haven't been able to record them. Part of that is because of fucking cost to go to therapy right now. But on the bright side, after I meet my deductible again this year, I'll be able to go to therapy a lot more often. Hopefully, I'll do some more drama skits for you guys. And you'd have to monitor your comment section a lot more. Yeah, that's another thing. I don't want to sit there like I already, both me and Chris. I think Chris mostly monitors TikTok and he monitors some of Facebook, right?
What do you mean?
Comments?
I try to monitor all of them, but it's impossible to do so.
It is, yeah. Like it like you have two people at different intervals looking and monitoring the comments, and I will go on and I'll look at the hidden comments, because sometimes a comment on YouTube will get hidden that doesn't deserve to be hidden. It just flagged the censor, and so I'll go through those periodically. I've deleted. We haven't gotten any death threats since the Ben 10 stuff, which is nice. We have gotten some very mean comments for both of us. And I'm not going to talk about it. Kind of like Chris doesn't want to tell me about a comment. I tend to do the same thing. he doesn't need to see the negative shit that's just like pure negativity for no other reason to be negative. There's no reason for that. I'll just delete it. Not a big deal. However, I also, at a certain point, I start recognizing people's usernames sometimes. Like if I see it enough, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to block you now. Here's the best thing about YouTube's blocking. It doesn't block you from from seeing our content on YouTube. You can still see it. You can even interact with it. It'll count even towards our metrics. No one else has to see it. It's like putting you in this little box, and you can be like, oh, I can see this. I can make a comment. But no one will interact with you. Your negativity stays in that box. I call it the shadow realm because I love it. On Facebook and TikTok and Instagram, I would believe as well, you get blocked completely. You don't get to see our content anymore. So the block button on those social medias is used a lot less because we don't want to alienate our fans just because they have one particular sketch they don't like. Or they don't like one of us. There have been people who hate on me specifically. There have been people who hate on Chris specifically, and neither one of us like that. We're like, you don't hate on this just because of whatever reason you want to have. Give us constructive feedback. We crave that. I'd like to point out, I went from a sketch that was probably 1:30 to now nearly 2 minutes.
Don't be short.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
That's good. Let me know when you're ready. I'll go over it.
I'm ready. 1 second here.
All right.
I actually copied and pasted it to a different file so that I can back it out and go back to your original sketch.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Debbie, I grew up in Glenview, just north of Chicago.
Which reminds me, can we not do a Chicago accent for the character? I'm sorry to everyone that wants a Chicago accent. I can't hold that accent without a lot of practice, and I want to introduce this character faster. So the question is like, we need to make a character. It can't be like Napa. They have to be competent. It has to be a competent character. It also has to be a character that Chris and Levi actively hate. And I have thought about it, Chris, for a long time. The character, the puppet, the hand, it's just a hand, works in hero support, and that's why he's always yapping. We will have that opportunity to have someone, quote unquote, in hero support, and they're always just going off on us because they have nothing better to do. And I love the idea that they've been away for such a long time and they finally came back and nothing affected it, which would be a great joke of like, you didn't even need to be here and no one noticed other than the fact it was quiet. Which is a funny joke to me because that's part of the joke of hero support just orders suits and shit. But if you guys think I should add Google AIs, that would be fine too. But we thought you resigned. Oh shit, I'm shaky. Okay, good.
You okay?
Yeah, no. I mean, yes, I'm okay. I gotta stop this. I had forgotten to eat for a little too long today, and so now my whole system's kind of out of whack. And if I don't like stay hydrated and I had an early dinner, but I'll probably have to have something small to snack on in like an hour or so. Not eating for like, I think it was like 18 hours. Yeah. Great for dieting, not so great for the body shakes and stuff.
Okay. You want to jump into the Google Drive and pull up Predator versus Hellsing version 2, V2?
Do you want to share it on your screen and see?
Yeah,
if
I can.
Okay. Since my screen is having an issue, is Samara still stuck in computers? So this is a really interesting thing. My kiddo voices the computer, right? A lot of our computer is voiced by my kiddo. My kiddo's going to be doing some more voice work now that they've caught up on homework and all this other stuff, and things are calming back down. Here's the big thing, though. A lot of people, whether we meant to or not, are attributing the computer gaining sentience, because we started having it talk back, to Samara taking over that computer. Samara having a voice, the more I think about it, would make our lives so much easier to introduce yet another character. And because that character is voiced by somebody that's in-house, it also makes it easier to add to sketches. But it's not something that's necessary. There is a lot of stuff from Irving that I think we might have been missing. Irving, have you been making a bunch of comments? Villains fight. Yes, we have. Bash the Stampede. Only Veins. I really love that joke.
Yeah.
I'd really love to add that in at some point. I need to read this sketch, but I think if we add it in at the very end, we could get away with it. That'd be another one to add at the end. How about an ashy spot? We went through that. Credit card, went through that. Idea, Bert and Ernie fusion. Oh my God. What if predators find the POTA? That's something we've discussed for an entirely different series. All right. I'm ready.
Would the Bert and Ernie fusion be called Bernie or Ert? And I want to hear both their voices say it at the same time, just because their voices are so different.
Also, it would be kind of weird for them to fuse, considering that they are confirmed not roommates.
Mm-hmm.
Ert. Anyways, let's get into this. Let me hydrate.
I spelled out Harkonnen for you. Harkonnen.
Yeah. There was a cat hair there. Fine. All right, I'm going to read it from the screen, though, since you have it zoomed in. Mm-hmm. So we did, in fact, per your request, get that bitch a cannon. Your words exactly. It's an anti-tank autocannon we call the Harkonnen. It'll take about 2 to 4 weeks to actually arrive, though.
I see. Any chance you can expedite the shipping and order a second? I have plans to take another enthusiastic murder walk through the woods later this week.
I can, but there's some red tape to be navigated.
Ah, my favorite color. I'm sure it can be worked out. And the other cannon? Bitches do love cannons, after all. Can't have too many.
Well, in fact, we're actually in the process of making an upgrade, which would feature a pair of 30mm autocannons belt-fed from a backpack-mounted ammo box.
Oh, a pair, you say? You're making me feel all tingly.
Ew. Right. Anyways, I need to add. You need to type in "ooh" right there. I just like that. Again, this is why improv is really nice. Ew. Right. Anyways, I do see here that the 70-inch nearly indestructible plasma TV has arrived and is currently sitting on your wall. How do you like it?
It has no Netflix, just something called Tubi, and it's damaged.
You have to pay for Netflix. We discussed this, and what kind of damage?
Cut to John. You're in Alucard's manor? I told you to avoid him. You hit the TV with plasma blasts? Do you have any idea how much money he spent on that thing? We told him it was nearly indestructible. Now he's gonna know it's a regular fucking TV. Come back to Levi.
Please tell me before we continue this that Levi doesn't know you swapped it out.
I never addressed that because I guess in my mind it was that it never was nearly indestructible. We just gave him a regular TV and priced the hell out of it, saying it was nearly indestructible.
Okay.
And anything that happens to it, say, we said nearly.
Yeah. Helsing, hold on. John,
Yes.
are there Yautja in Alucard's Manor? Did they hit his nearly indestructible TV with plasma blast? You know he's going to eat him, right? The invisible guys are called Yautja. They're who damaged your TV with their plasma cannons.
Oh, so that's where that breeze came from. Who or what is a Yowza? And do you think they'll go well with some saltines?
They're alien hunters that can go invisible. Probably snuck in when you brought the TV in.
Why is there a space there? Okay. Oh, you were just a treat. If I had known free lunch came with a purchase, I would have ordered ages ago. I still want my fucking Netflix, though.
Lunch? Yeah, I guess they did just Uber Eats themselves to your door, and your budget didn't cover Netflix.
Damn it. I knew that shit was getting expensive. I wanted to watch the Great British Bake Off while baked. By chance, do you happen to know how many calories they might be?
The Yautja or what they make on GBBO?
The Yahoo, not the baked goods. I would hate to spoil my dinner with junk food after all.
I say go for it. A little junk food's good in moderation. Plus, glare at John. It takes a whole year to make the I don't need to say the because it takes a whole year to make that TV.
A whole fucking year. You know, some people say TV makes you violent. Well, not having a TV is going to make me pretty fucking violent. Release restraint level 1.
Cut to John.
That means you're going to die. Offer him your credit card. Tell him he'll pay for Netflix.
That's your choice. It'd be a la carte there. That's your choice, a la carte. Do you want Netflix or an appetizer?
I could eat them and then use their credit cards.
Bon appetit. And the disclosure happening. Do we have any more after that?
That's it.
Okay. Would you guys hit for using Alucard's name? Because he works for Helsing, not is Helsing.
We just changed it. I don't know Helsinger Bridge, so I didn't know what it. Yeah, so we just changed it to Alucard.
Yeah, so Alucard, like I have his name written as Helsing. For everyone here, the only reason was that I just simply was able to type Helsing faster, and I was like, it's just in my brain, it was just easier to type that. It needs to be completely updated name wise. I like that sketch. We kind of leave that open ended. Now here's the question to everyone here. How do you guys like that? I feel that it works pretty well, and we have a voice actor that does the voice spot on, and he can actually hold it, unlike me, who can only do like a 70-inch plasma screen TV when I'm actually concentrating on trying to lower my voice enough. I didn't even realize I could get that low until we were live one day, and I just did the voice, and somebody was like, that sounds almost exactly like it. And I went back and played, and I was like, oh shit, that sounds pretty damn like it. Needs tweaking, but it's pretty good. What do you mean it needs tweaking? Gonna need to be more specific with that one. Where do you, and again, I know there's a 30-second delay. Where do you think we need to tweak the sketch currently? No. Popo has just simply practiced those a lot. And there was actually people calling me when I was doing some of the voicing, some voicing Tanaka, and I was like, I'm not Tanaka. Thank you for. It is nice to know that I can get down that low, and I can do that voice, and that simply means that as I'm doing these voices, as I'm trying to get these voices more accurate, I'll be able to hold that better. But when I'm reading a line versus just talking however I want, it's much different because like I'm actively trying to process what's in my head, what I see on screen in my head, and the voice all at once. It's a little bit different. I see. Any chance you can expedite the shipping? That's not how he would talk. I would need to adjust his thing. So it'd be, I see. Any chance you can expedite the shipping and order us and order a second. I don't want to sit here. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to sit on a sketch that would take Popo maybe 30 minutes to fucking record. I don't want to sit for 3 hours trying to get all the lines exactly right, because that's time that I could have been spent editing or filming the sketch. I do need practice. I can practice that particular voice a different time. You're picking, you thought it was perfect. The responses by Alucard need some more unhinged tone of Britishness. Which ones? Is it like right where we go back and forth? The invisible guys are called.
I think that might be so. Irving, are you talking about in the dialogue or in my performance of him? Because I'm not going to be performing him because I can't do the voice. I've never heard the voice. Maybe heard it like a little in passing.
So like when we go to his line of, so that's where the breeze came from. Who or what is a Yowza? And do you think they'll go well with some saltines? In the dialogue, I need you to be specific on which lines you feel need to be tweaked.
Because once the voice actor gets done with it, it will sound much more British.
Yeah. Well, Helsing a bridge sounds like an American doing a British.
Let me rephrase. Yeah, it'll sound much more like an American person doing a British accent. Steven, you don't need to correct me. I know I'm wrong. I can feel Steven going, no. So, Warforged, the point of John doing the nodding would be like Levi being like, where was the line? Are there Yautja in Alucard's manor? And John is like, because John is acting like a caught child. Like he goes, John goes, yes. He doesn't want Levi to know because they shouldn't be there. Are the Yautja in Alucard's manor?
So Alucard can't.
So both ways, and Levi can choose which nodding he likes better.
What? Oh, the sheep. Oh, yeah.
Excuse me.
So Irving, I agree with that, but here's another thing. When we're going through it, like so. I see you have I see. Any chance you can expedite the shipping and order a second? There's no reason. I have plans to take another enthusiastic murder walk through the woods. That's a good line, very similar to how he would speak. His next line of, oh, my favorite color. Very sassy, very there. Where are we in the sketch? Because it has no Netflix, just something called Tubi, and it's damaged. Would that line need sass? Like I get it. It's near the end. Near the end. Okay. Do you mean the damn it, I knew that shit was getting expensive. I wanted to watch the Great British Bake Off while baked line? This is the bad thing about having a 30-second delay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll do like 2 to 3 lines trying to figure it out, and then I gotta wait, and then I gotta go back and be like, which line here? And right now, showing my screen is causing a weird echo-ish thing. Yeah, I just thought John would act more like, I can't believe I had to deal. So here's the thing. We have made it clear that when Levi gets pissed off, even John kind of goes like, ugh.
That's the exact sound that I make.
Ew. I cannot confirm or deny that it's very fun to watch that show like that.
What? Oh, British Bake Off. Yeah.
Okay. So you're meaning, Irving, the damn it, I knew that shit was getting expensive. I wanted to watch that particular line, or the Yahoo, not the baked goods. I would hate to spoil my lunch after all. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know about Steven. The damn it, I knew that shit was getting expensive. Okay. I'm gonna tell you right now, as somebody who has way more friends than I thought from the UK, that's pretty spot on, and especially people who partake of that stuff. That's also pretty much on par with it. Damn, I knew that shit was getting expensive. Is how he would say. He'd get pissed off. I wanted to watch the Great British Bake Off while baked. He's having a sub conversation about what he wanted to do. By chance, do you happen to know how many calories they might be? Because he's pissed and he's going to eat them now. Levi having the misunderstanding and then Helsing correcting that misunderstanding. That's where, like, I knew that shit was getting expensive is how it is. And when you hear the character, I don't know if I can do this. 70-inch plasma screen TV. Damn it. I knew that shit was getting expensive. I wanted to watch the Great British Bake Off while baked. I see what you mean. I see what you mean. I think that line is going to heavily depend on our voice actor saying it in the cadence that fits better, because I still am working on the cadence. Damn it. I knew that shit was getting expensive. Say, God damn it. Even like, God damn it or damn it, it doesn't really mean, yes, a la carte. Yeah, we're talking about a la carte. I don't think it matters if we say God damn it or damn it, to be honest. That one extra thing I can do. God damn it. God, 70-inch plasma screen TV. God damn it. I knew that shit was getting expensive. I get what he's saying. I think there would be an extra quip in there.
So, quick side note, unrelated. I just saw another comment pop in on notification like this. So many people have said, stop doing full animation and just do the live action with the animation. How do y'all feel about that?
That would take so much longer. I'm not saying it wouldn't do well, but the reality is like we've discussed, and this is, I want to hear you guys' responses, but I'm not opposed to that.
I'm just curious on people's opinions.
From a cost perspective, it's not there. Yeah, that is actually pretty entertaining. But yeah.
Well, it's a matter of having him do the full video animated. We can always post the full animation on its own animation channel, and then edit the animations in with the live action on this channel.
Well, people are asking for the animation live action mix, or they're asking full animation.
They're asking for the mix.
Yeah. So you like and see, that's the thing. We always knew that, like, there's gonna be a point, like, animation is really huge for a lot of people, especially right now where there's a lack of new cartoons and animation, and even more so where Netflix, Hulu, fucking every streaming platform is literally ripping animation off of its platforms. So
Not
people
if you
are
have
craving this shit.
Crunchyroll. I counted. There's 23 new shows this season that I've got on my watch list.
Oh, that's anime, like cartoon style stuff like Us or Lower Decks, and that kind of stuff.
Right.
You like the mix of for live action TV over cartoons, and see we built our.
I don't mind editing the mix.
No, I don't. The biggest thing here is cost, because and then like on top of that you have that factor of like how often we can produce content and get it out. It would slow our content down dramatically because we're having to wait on animation to release it like that. You like the mix?
Slow our animated content down.
Yeah. And we had already discussed about doing an animation channel to begin with, and that's there, and we were just building up content for it. Supplementing the life stuff. And I 100% love the idea of adding these characters that are animated that, and we interact with them very much like Roger Rabbit type stuff. People love that type of content when it's done well. And honestly, even when it's not done well, people still go and watch it. And like, if the story's good enough, they fucking like, I wish the animation was just better, is all they say. And we're a tiny YouTube channel. We're given a lot of like forgiveness because of budget and time constraints and stuff like that. So instead of asking about calories, why not taste?
Oh man, hey, we've been live for 2 hours. I'm not trying to sneak out, but I've started a new job this week, and it's a lot busier than my old job.
I'm gonna, Chris, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah,
because it wouldn't change the script much.
No.
And it would still be the same question: calories or taste?
Let me find the line real quick.
It's God damn it! I knew the shit was getting expensive line.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, honestly,
my concern,
despite the lack of meaning, they're basically interchangeable. All you have to change is the word from calories to taste. By chance, you know how many? Do you know how they might taste? The Yautja or they make on GBBO, the Yahoo, not the baked goods. I hate to spend my dinner with junk food after all.
Let's go ahead and use taste.
Right.
Well, no. Make it. Let's do this. Let's do a comment, and then have I'm gonna copy that actually, and then I'm gonna make a comment right there.
Well, I just did.
Go ahead and update it. Oh, thank you. You already. Never mind. Faster than me. Okay. I wanted to get more work done. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. I am happy that we got this sketch done. Here's a question. This is a remake. There is that we have an opportunity, Chris, right now to make a choice and test something out.
Okay.
We can test something out. We know that if we iron out a skit, record it, know how it is. This is already a successful skit before we've remade it. Do you want to do a voice acted full live action and release that, or do a test run with this one?
What test run?
People wanted us to release just animation, right? We could film this, get it, have him animate it. It never releases outside of it having full animation right off the bat. So the only version that would exist would be a live action animation mix like the Pennywise, only there wouldn't be a live action it's competing against. It would be the first of its kind, and we would be able to see how well it does. But it's also one of those things like, I don't know.
we need to figure out the Predator's voice before we animate any more Predators. Because part of the problem with our original animation was people did not like the. I can't even do it right now. No. Like all the clicking and clacking. They did not appreciate it at all. It was confusing and people didn't watch it. We didn't realize that.
We don't have the Predator speaking in this one, do we?
We don't, but they're still going to be on screen in the animation because they're in the room with them.
Okay,
In
go.
the room
Let's
where it
go
happens.
real quick.
Talk.
Where you?
They fired plasma blasts that hit the TV. They're in the room with them.
So this is the this would still be an opportunity because we don't have them speaking in this sketch at all. They're just in the room. We don't need to have them speak. They're in the room, blast,
Right.
you maybe see them, but they don't speak at all. It's Alucard speaking and you talking to them once and they don't get a chance to actually speak before it cuts back to me.
Right. No, but I'm talking. I'm not saying. I'm saying in general. Like in general, having the Yautja animated is something we need to figure out what they're going to sound like. Because eventually, people are going to be like, "You're animating it, but you don't. But all we see is them. We don't hear them."
Yeah. And this particular skit, it works to not need to hear them because of everything else going on. But I do agree with you. We're going to have to figure that out. The question right now is for this sketch, because we don't have to worry about what they sound like. Right now, we don't have to worry about that. Do we want to take the opportunity to test releasing a animated skit that's ironed out versus what we tried before, where we know that, like, hey, this is how it is, where it's an animation mix versus the animation. It's not going to fight against itself. It's not going to fight against the full live action version. It would have an opportunity to breathe as its own and release as a single skit or sketch, live action animation mix. That would be a good. We know the premise is strong. It's done well before. We already know that. We just had to bring it up to date.
I'd be fine with that. We should record it live and see how it does. Not and see how we like it, and how the fans in a live stream like it without.
Okay.
Or maybe drop it and make it a members only. You know, when we're doing an animation, maybe the only people who get to see the live action are the members. Members only get to see the live action. It never goes beyond that to get some feedback from the members.
That's a good idea. Go ahead and put that in the Discord. Let's send this script over to, if you can, you can contact him a lot fast. Like I think I already tried reaching out.
Yeah.
To him because he just doesn't respond on Discord that often.
Open Arc? Yeah, he does.
No, Popo.
Oh.
I can message Openock. I haven't messaged Popo, but I haven't seen him online in like weeks on Discord. I'll deal with that later. I'm gonna message Openock. Do we have him working on anything else right now?
Don't believe so.
Okay.
Vaughn, we do have a Discord. There is the. Oh, okay. Well, it's only on. Hold on a second. It's not sharing on Facebook. There you go, Vaughn. On the screen is the link.
and then I can Alucard pays a Billy Borg underneath the table for bootleg cable. I would love to bring back the Billy Borg. No, that was just us being quiet for a half a minute while we type to the prospective people. It has been 2 hours. I'm gonna need a break of some kind. I also promised kiddos I gotta go check and make sure both kiddos have eaten, even though like they had, like I bought dinner because we had to go out really late. Oh God, I don't know. Because my back's hurting too. I really want to get the Helsing sketch done too. I'm gonna talk to Chris after the live stream. We're gonna have to call it because I need to talk to Chris after the live stream. So once we know Vogue has that link.
Vaughn.
Vogue. I keep doing Vogue because I keep thinking Vought. Vaughn has that link. We'll kind of go from there. Make sure they ache like us, have food, but forget to eat. Yeah, my kiddos have that problem. You're going to bed. You're going to bed soon too. That's good. Yeah, 2 hours like this, and I start hurting. The benefit of medication and my brace and everything, is when I'm walking around, I can handle that. But like sitting down for as long period of time, I have to take that damn brace off and everything, and then immediately I start going. Alucard and Helsing meet Gary. I would love to do that, and we did a Dracula. No, I don't think we did. I don't know. We'll have to. The biggest problem that we have run into is like me and Chris have talked about it. That's an original character, meaning an established character. The hardest part is making that, and we have the opportunity that we're large enough.
We just dropped off on Facebook.
Yeah. We have an opportunity that we're large enough now that we can kind of play around with that stuff more often, but we still have to take in the fact that those videos may not perform as well. And when we're trying to boost everything up. Everyone have a good night. Remember, take it one breath, one step, one day at a time. Wish you all peace of mind, serenity, body, spirit, and harmony, among others. Until the winds blow your sails our way, have an Acme day. Have an Acme day. Park of Villain, have an Acme day. We'll be actively build to your account. Have an Acme day. And remember, have an Acme day simply means the best day you possibly can have. Bye now.